Okay. We're going to ask again the ladies and the girls in the girls division to please show what you have learned this year in camp. The first word is discipline, mishmas, derech eretz. And alongside come the boys and the adults. We're going to proceed now to the Yud Beis Psukim. Usually we have Kiya Shefa, but today is the first day of Rosh Chodesh Elul. So according to, as we know, we only use the Shefa today to learn how to blow. But we don't officially blow yet, and so we're not going to be Meshanim in our minig, and we're not going to blow Shefa today, so we're moving right on to the Yud Beis Psukim. The first 6 Psukim will be recited by the children of Camp Emunah. Where are the girls? Are they coming through? Where are they? Let them through over there, please. The first pasuk, Torah Tzivo, will be recited by Dvorah Leah Volpa of Chabad in Kiryat Gat. She has spent her summer in Emunah. Which one is it? That's Volpa? Come, over here.
Shiva, Lino, Moshe.
Toda Rabba. Okay. Shema Yisroel will now be recited by Shira Vaksa of Beth Rivka.
Shema Yisroel Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Thank you. The Cholda will now be recited by Shoranit Cohen of Yeshiva Ohel Moshe. That's Big Emunah, right? Big Emunah? You're Big Emunah.
Bechol Dar Vadar Chayav Liras Adam Liras Es Atmar Kilu Hel Yata Mitzrayim.
Thank you. That's the real Emunah spirit. All right, Kol Yisrael will now be recited by Zizi Beitelman of Beth Rivka.
Kol Yisroel Yesh Lahem Chelek Li'olam Haba Shenemar V'yameh Kulam Tzadikim Li'olam Yeshu Aretz Neser Matai Masei Yadai Lisfar.
Terrific. Kikoro will now be recited by Ahuva Goldstein of Beth Rivka.
Ki Tarayv Elecha Hadavar Me'aid Bificha Obevavcha Lasaisai.
Thank you. And finally, the Hine will now be recited by Hinda Schwartz from Torah Semis in Los Angeles, California.
Vihine Hashem Nitzav Alav Omai Chal Haaretz Kivaydai Omabit Alav Avachem Klayais Balev Em Avdai Karai.
Okay, since we have it divided up in two parts, usually them intermixed, one like this and one like that, but since the girls did that, I'll give the girls an opportunity to show your appreciation for the girls for their psukim. What is she supposed to say? Which one are you? All right, now Gan Yisrael will recite their psukim by bunks, and they will be announced by their head counselor, Rabbi Yosef Denberg.
Bungs Hey, Ches, and Yud Aleph, please bracious, loud. 1, 2, 3. Bracious, Bada, Elohim, Eis, Hashemayim, Yes, Haaretz, Vishinantam by Bunks Yudalad and Tezvov. 1, 2, 3. Vishinantam, Levanecha, V'libaita, Bam, V'shiricha, V'vasecha, V'ledecha, V'adelech, V'shabecha, Okumecha, Yagaiti by Bunks Gimel and Daled. 1, 2. Yagaiti, V'lai, Matzazi, Al, Tamin, Lai, Yagaiti, Umatzazi, Al, Tamin, Yagaiti, Umatzazi, Tamin. Bunks Yud Beis and Yud Gimel V'yahavta. V'yahavta. L'reacha, Kamaycha, Rabbi, Akiva, Aimer, Zeh, Kol, Adam. Finally, Vav and Zayin V'Zeh. Zeh, Kol, Adam, Rosh, Briazai, Lias, Kol, Ailamais, Ayainim, Zainim, Data, Zo, Nachainim. Last, I know they're waiting for this one. Test and Yud Yismach. 1, 2, 3. Yismach. Yo. Be'aisov. Peidosh. Shakal. Me. Shahu. Mizeta. Yisrael. Yesh. Loi. Ismael. Esimvas. Hashem. Asher. Sas. Sameach. Derajai, Dachainim. Yechei! 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 Yechei!
All right, boys, show your appreciation for your boys for the good job they did in the psukim. As is customary, this is the only kinnus where the Rebbe Zal Gesundsein gives part of his time so that the representatives of the both camps could have their final message to their children. So we're going to call upon Rabbi Yossi Denberg, the head counselor of Gan Yisroel, to speak first, and then we'll hear from Machane Emunah.
Last night, after everybody was already asleep, after we already cleaned up the shul, there was silence in Gan Yisroel. No one was up. I was walking around by myself, and I was sorting through my papers, and I came across the song sheet that we had typed up last night for banquet. I was looking at all the songs, especially the alma maters, and each song seemed to convey the exact same message. Each song said, camp doesn't end, camp goes with you, camp goes on throughout a whole year, camp doesn't end today. From personal experience, I know this is not exactly quite true. I'm sure most of you are not going to be having a bonfire tonight in your living room. You can't have circus in your house. You can't have acrobats, even though you'd like to. You can't have all the things that thrilled you in Gan Yisroel. Even the benchings, the singings, the davenings that you had in Gan Yisroel will not be the same here in the city. To borrow a phrase we had in camp, camp is truly an island in time, in a sense. Camp is very far removed from the daily normal experience we usually have here in city life. Nevertheless, as the Rebbe Shlita writes in his letters, Gan Yisroel, we are Gan Yisroel, we are a garden. And the purpose of our garden is to grow fruit. And the type of fruit we are trying to cultivate and produce is the pre-Eitz Hadar, the beautiful and perfect fruit. What defines a pre-Eitz Hadar is a Hadar which is Be'ilanai Mishana Lishana, that it withstands all temperatures, it's not seasonal, it can weather all climates. That is a pre-Eitz Hadar. A pre-Eitz Hadar, a beautiful fruit, is one that lasts an entire year. That is the purpose of our garden in Gan Yisroel, to produce campers who not only act as Gan Yisroel campers, the 2 months we have them in camp, But when they come back to the city and the streets, to the schools, over there they show everyone else what it means to be a Gan Yisrael camper. I know we can say with pride that when our campers go back this year, we can stamp on them, produced and packaged by Gan Yisrael. When we come back, we have with us fond memories. My memories include a particular smile from a child, a certain Friday night. Everyone has their own, their counselor, their learning teacher. But memories really are not going to keep us together. One of the lessons I learned this year in Gan Yisrael was that no matter what happens to us, together, b'tzibur, we can do everything in a fashion of Avas Yisrael until Achdus Yisrael. Together we can accomplish all. If there's one thing I'd like, that every single camper at this very moment think back over the last 2 months. Take one thing that you really loved in Gan Yisrael so much, whether it was singing the psukim, the yechi, salute, whatever it was, the benchings, the davenings. Take that one thing and every single day for the next 10 months do that thing, so that we should be together not only in memory but also in deed in Maisa. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all the campers and staff for making Gan Yisrael a garden which produced such fine fruit. And I believe it is time that we thank the one who planted this garden, this Gan Yisrael, and the one who has planted the Gan Yisraels and other maestros across the globe. And the only way we know how to thank the Rebbe Shlita, the little that we can give him, is the Mishnayos Baal Peh that we have chazered over the summer. And it prides me to say that this year the Gan Yisrael campers produced and packaged 620 gold stars for the Rebbe Shlita. I would just like to say, if everyone remembers last night at banquet, I said goodbye. In light of the above words, thinking it over on the car ride back to Brooklyn, I decided I would have to retract that goodbye. So everyone, hello again. Hope to see you soon in Eretz Yisrael with Mashiach.
Thank you very much, Rabbi Denberg. We now call upon Rav Azriel Yitzchak Wasserman of Camp Emunah for his message.
Baruch Hashem, the girls in Camp Emunah can be very proud of their summer. There was a very strong Tzivus Hashem program, Mishnayos, and many other things also learned Baal Peh. The learning program was one balanced Ben Odom LaMokum and Ben Odom LaChaverei, dinim that were practical, understood by the girls, and applicable to their own lives. There is a story told of the Rambam, who was a doctor for a very great king, a sultan. And he had, of course, enemies who would have liked to have taken his place. And they kept on thinking up plots and plans to do so. One time they came before the king and they claimed that they had the power to heal someone who had been blind from birth. And the sultan asked the Rambam if he could do that. And the Rambam said no. So he said, if they can do this, then they will be appointed officially the doctors of my kingdom, and you will be out of a job. So they brought a man in who they attempted to show and to prove that he had been blind from birth. And then they took their creams and their solvents and they rubbed them on his eyes, on the man's eyes, and they said their chants. And then when they cleaned his eyes off and he stood up and he opened his eyes, and miracle of miracles, he could see. And the king turned to the Rambam and he said to the Rambam, you see, they did it. They have a power greater than yours. The Rambam reached into his pocket and took out two little cards. One was red and one was blue. And he showed it to the supposed blind man, and he said, "Tell me now, which one is red and which one is blue?" And the man said, "Why, that one's red and that one's blue." And the Rambam turned to the king and he said, "Tell me, can a man who has been blind all of his life distinguish between red and blue? Can he know colors?" And of course the Rambam had made his point, and the king was pleased, and of course the Rambam remained to be the doctor of the king. This summer in Machan Emunah began with Pashas Chukas, and we spoke of the different types of letters that there are. And the letters that are carved are one with the stone. And we compared this to the camp experience, how a person in camp, a Jewish child in camp, is completely and totally absorbed within an environment of Jewish pride and simcha, and especially in Machan Emunah, which has a spirit and a ruach, which is Elul Kulona, a spirit which can only be seen and not described. The last parsha that we experienced together in camp, from which this week is blessed, was Parshas Re'eh, see. The tachlis and the purpose of the camp experience for 9 full weeks is that each camper, upon their return to their home environment, should clearly be able to distinguish and see, having experienced 9 weeks of total absorption within such an environment, should now be able to see and clearly distinguish between that which is good and the opposite of good, between bracha and the opposite of bracha, between life and the opposite of life, between that which is good and that which can be better. And I think, and I'm sure, that the girls in Machan Emunah, in their experience in camp, each have gained this awareness and this ability to distinguish in their own individual lives what can be improved and what can be made better. And then in such a way, through such an experience, through the benefit of such an experience, we can be sure that Hashem will answer our prayers, Hashiva Shavtenu Kvarishena. He will return our judges as at the beginning. And together, all of us together, will be led out of this gullus with the Rebbe Shlita at our head to Eretz HaKodesh, the Bias HaMashiach, Mehira Yemenu Mamish.
Thank you, Rabbi Wasserman. Before we go further, I must ask again, Kinderlach, don't run around. And if the adults are there, just let them sit down, the Kinderlach. Don't let them run around. Nothing wrong with that. And the girls, please, we're going to have the schus of hearing the Rebbe's message to us now. And I will try to give you, Bezras Hashem, a brief translation in English. But please give us your undivided attention. And let's show the Rebbe that we are really the real soldiers of Hashem who have gone through a summer in our training camp which taught us how to conduct ourselves. So everybody, please now your attention to the Rebbe's Zolgazunza.
Noch der Ruf, was ist angekommen von einer Zeit, was man auch Mechaner gewähnt, Menschen, Männer oder Frauen, was einem übergegeben, mit dem es ein Messias Nefesh, zu Chinuch von jüdischen Kindern, und das ist aufgenommen geworden durch jüdische Kinder, was jeder von sie, der Chabern Avrom, Yitzchok und Yanke, und Bas, Sore, Rivke, Rochel und Leo, ist doch sicher, der Chinuch ist aufgenommen geworden bei Hatzlocha und wurde gerecht, zu sein Schleimus in der Neifen, aber soll da noch anhalten, den ganzen Jahr, was kommt noch die Zeit, was mit Gewähnen kämpft. wo der Tachlis ist doch nicht so, der Honkleiden Kirche ist Gashmi, aber der Jahr soll sein, wie es darf zu sein, und sicher Honkleiden Kirche ist Ruchni, aber der Jahr soll sein, wie es darf zu sein, es hebt sich doch schon, zu Eisproben, und was sie kommen, das beweisen, von den Ebersten, am Ispelis, was ihnen zugepasst, zu den Ebersten Sagan, die das heißt Yisroel oder Emunah, ist auch das Eichet Emunah, in dem Ebersten oder an anderen Namen, von verschiedenen Camps, Bechol, Elam, Kule, seien sie doch alle durchgenommen, die Emesse Camps, mit dem Gedanken und mit dem Tachlis, aber man soll machen, Peris zugepasst, mit dem Eberstens Willen, wo der Willen seiner ist doch übergegeben geworden, durch Teiro in einer lichtigen Leben und in einer klaren Leben, durch sein Teiro, was wird angerufen, Teiras Chai, an Anweisung, in dem täglichen Leben, für jeden, zu wem die Teile ist angekommen und abgegeben geworden, was das ist doch, wie der Tester gesagt, jeder, was gehört zu Kehilas Yanki, was die Gehörigkeit hebt sich davon gleich, wie eine Welt geboren, noch Fahrbar Mitzvah und Fahrbas Mitzvah, bekommt mit Rosh, bekommt als Ayirusche die Teiro, was wie gesagt, die das Ateras Chayim und Atero ist davon verstandig, als ich die erste Sache, was sich weiß sich heraus, kommendig von Kern, aber hat noch mehr Matzlier gewählt, in der alle Anweisungen von Teiro, wo sie hat sich in sich als Sach Mitzvahs, wo die Mitzvahs ist da, Mitzvahs Protim und Mitzvahs Flolim. Mitzvah, was ist farsig und eine Mitzvah, was nimmt herum, als Sach Mitzvahs, und in die Klolim Gufa ist da ein Stammaklal oder ein Klau Godel. Und es ist doch verstandig, als in was direkt sich heißt, die Pchina, hat Matzlier gewesen im Camp und hat bekommen, die alle Sachen, was sie nötig auf mit sie zu tun. Den ganzen Jahr hat das schon zum allen Nächten am Ismekayim die Klau Godel betehren. Oder noch ist er sicher, aber noch wird sein Mitzvah geredes Mitzvah, wird man echt mit Kayim sein, die Mitzvahs, was einen echt Klorim oder Klau Stamm, bis sicher die Mitzvahs Protis, wo der Klau Godel betehren ist da, wie ihr Tester gesagt in die Judbeis Psuchim, und mein Morde Chazal, als es steht im Posik, ואהבת לרעך כמוך, und es steht in meinem Chazal, als Rabbi Akiva hat gesagt, dass er Klau Godel betehren. Was in der Ruf Gufe, was sie zu einwirken, an Leriacha, a Jingel auf a Jingel, und a Mädel auf a Mädel, bis Komecha, als sie soll Mecha durchgenommen werden, mit dem Gedank und mit dem Tachlis. A der Rebischter soll sein, Yismach, Hawaii bemeister, a der Rebischter soll von sie sein, Besimcha. Der Fall was, sie fühlen sich gut, wie steht in Teiro, unheimlich von dem Klau Godel, Beteiro, ist das verstandig, als in der Ruf darf man haben Anweisung und als speziellen Chinuch, was sie mir kann Peil sein auf ein Kind, was sie noch nie durchgenommen mit dem Gedanken. Als ich soll Sof kol Sof das der Griechen, das was hier der Griech für die 9 Wochen darf man doch haben den Zugang, noch jeder hat oder die Schleimus und den Verstand, was auf der Ruf sagt der Rambam, was ich natürlich gehört, wegen Lernen Rambam, jeder ist, Gott kleine Eichheit, der Zähl der Rambam, und was reingestellt in sein Pirush Mishne, an Anweisung, aber die Schaß mir kommt zu einem jüdischen Kind, was hat noch nicht bekommen, dem Chinuch, was hier ist gehabt, die Bemerkung von den 9 Wochen und noch Vater. Und er darf auf dem Peil sein, als soll der Griechen, bis kann bekommen, a Gold Medal oder noch mehr, sagt der Rambam, als zum alle Menschen darf man sehen, soll was früher von ihm lernen Teile und mit keinem sein Mitzvahs, noch jeder hat den Verstand, was kommt noch dem Chinuch von 9 Wochen und was tut man das und was ist man in der Ruf Matzliach am gefühlt ist, in welchen Ingen will Matzliach sein und welcher Ihnen ist für ihn süß, man takin und mir sagt als jede Sache und befragt noch Broches und man takin stammen von den Nebelsten und der Fahrt ist auch viele, wenn hat noch nicht den Verstand von höhere Sachen, aber hat schon und will schon haben am Takim oder Niolim schöne Kleider, soll anheben lernen Teile und mit keinem sein Mitzvahs und sicher wird ihm der Ewigste, der Pfarr, geben dem Schar in die Sachen, welcher hat schon ein Verstand, wo das in der Weile, dem am Tachim oder Momen oder Niolim oder Ähnliches. Wo das, wie gesagt, der Rambam, was gewähnt, am mehrere Wochen, hat angewiesen, in einer Sache, in welchem ist ein Novuch, man sieht noch nicht klar die Welt. Und wir darf kommen zu gehen zu einem jüdischen Kind, was hat nicht gehabt, den Glück, zu sein 9 Wochen, in einem Camp, was ist, Altares Chodesh. Und wir sagten, aber man darf gleich sich ohne fühlen, wie sie passt für ein jüdisches Kind, hat ja viel, hat noch in der Ruf kein Geschmack nicht. Aber in die Sachen, was hat ein Geschmack, wird sie bekommen, von dem Ebersten durch den Ruf, was wird Alkoholtonen, schleilisch mal, aber bei Meise wird sich fühlen, wie der Eberste will. Und unter dem sagt der Rambam, als mit sicher Matzliach sei, ab durch den Ruf der Kind, hat unheimlich früher das Ton, zu lieb dem Schar, zu lieb dem Amtaki, aber Gott in Gichen wird euch zukommen zu der Tachlis Schleimus, zu lieb haben Jüdischkeit, worin wissen und verstehen und fühlen, a dura de rufe Yismach Hawaii bemeister, a dura de rufe Schafter, a Simcha, von den Nebischen, was hat beschaffen nehmen. Und was techet, wie die Töchter gesagt, Breishis, Boro, Kimes, a Shomayim, des Horet, hat beschaffen, dem Amtakim und den Niolim und den Momim, in welcher hat schöner Geschmack und auf dem als ihr wird tonnen, dem in der Nähe von Jagaita, ihr Horre mit der jüdischen Kind, wie der Mond früher, ein Jüngele mit der Jüngele und ein Mädele mit der Mädele, ist auf dem ist eine sichere Sache, wie ihr gesagt, früher, als wir sein Mozosa, ihr werdet der Griechen in der als wir sein der viel, der Klau Godel Batela durchheich, und das wird noch mehr zugehen in den nebigsten Bloches, in neue Lernen Teile und in neue Mekaim sein Mitzvahs. Und befragt noch, dass der Hechitz verbunden mit dem Tag, wer sich kommt vor der Isteker zusammenkommen. wo das ist doch ein Jem Schlischi, schon hochfall bei Kitei, als steht zweimal Kitei, aber der Tag allein lernt und gibt Keach, am soll können auftan, einmal mit sich, das was teilt. Und hat als zweiten Teil überblies mit der aller Menschen, und befragt mit jüdische Kinder, warum sich, und dann die alle Unionen mit der Simcha Vetur Levo.
Directed his remarks about the fact that we just returned from a place where the boys were in the boys' camp, the girls in the girls' camp, under the supervision of men and women who worked with Mesiras Nefesh to teach them what Jewish children have to learn and to educate them properly. And especially each child who is the boys and the girls who are children of Avraham, Yitzchak, V'Yankiv, our forefathers, and our mothers, the Rivka, Rochel, Valeah. So says the Rebbe that he's certain that this education that they have will absolutely be successful and will reach the heights of perfection, that it will give us the strength to carry on through the entire year with that which we have taken with ourselves from the camp, both in a physical sense that we became physically stronger so that we should be able to do what Hashem Yisroel wants of us, and also we have also gained spiritual strength that we should be able to serve Hashem Yisroel in a godly way, the way the Rabbeinu Shalom wants us to do. And now is the time when we begin to show the fruits, that we were the kind of fruit that were fit for this garden, which is called either Gan Yisroel, or the Rebbe said, or it's called Emunah, or any of the other names that the camps have throughout the world. But each one of these camps, of the true camps, the ones who are genuine, they are camps who have their goals set in the right direction to produce the kind of fruits, the kind of kindler, that they will be able to show that they are the ones who are fulfilling Almighty God's will by virtue of the fact that they have received a clear instruction from the Torah, the light of Torah, and the Torah Chaim, the Torah of life, which guides every single step of our life and our daily actions and our daily existence. And to us, to whom Torah was given, after all, to whom was the Torah given? To the Yiddish Kinderlach and to Klal Yisroel. And says the Rebbe, right as soon as we're born, if the Torah became ours, it's Rosh as we heard there in the first pasuk, that this is an inheritance to all Yiddish Kinderlach. The second they're born into the world, if the Torah becomes ours. So from the Torah that gives light and the Torah that gives life and guidance, so we understand and we show first things, how we are successful in the instruction that Torah gives us and in fulfilling what Torah tells us and fulfillment of the mitzvahs. So the Rebbe says there are two different categories. There is the general and there is the individual. There are those that have to do with an individual person. Those are special kind of mitzvahs. And then there are the general things that everybody has to do. How do you know if you're successful in camp that this will give us the strength to be able to go through the entire year? So it starts off by the Klal Godel, the big general rule. And through this big general rule and these big general mitzvahs that we're going to do, through this we will bring about that one mitzvah will bring another mitzvah, and this will bring about the fulfillment of all the obligations that we have to do, the mitzvahs that have to do with us individually, and all the general mitzvahs. What's the big rule? What's the Klal Godel? Who knows? What's the Klal Godel? I don't hear. Say it a little louder. Yisroel. And we said it. We all heard it as it was recited here today. So how do you make this thing that you should impress your re'acha, to see to it, to show him that you really love him and you want to help him? So the boys have to go out and see to it to talk to their fellow boys. And the girls have to go out to speak to their sister girls and see to it that they should influence them to do exactly as they are doing. Never, those kids weren't lucky enough to be in camps like you were, and to be able to learn and to be able to come home with this tremendous baggage of chinuch and all these mitzvahs in the way of life that was given to you, so that we should know how to fulfill the goal to its fullest, that it should be Yisbach Hashem b'maasav, that the Rabbeinu Shalom, he should be happy with us, that he created us. He should be very happy that we are doing what he wants us to do. And why is this? Because the Rabbeinu Shalom looks down and he sees those little Zisa Kinderlach, the boys and the girls, that they are doing what the Eibishter wants. They are fulfilling his mitzvahs. They are living by the Klal Godel. And because of this special chinuch that we got, and we have gotten the instruction that we should be able to go out and guide and bring in the others, so this is the way we accomplish what has to be accomplished. Now here comes the Rebbe and he said a beautiful thing. Shh, listen to this. You know, there's a big thing today in the world. Everybody is learning Rambam. Why is everybody all of a sudden learning Rambam? Because the Rebbe Zal Gesund Sein declared a new kind of campaign that you gotta learn every day 3 Prokim and Rambam. The ladies learn Derech Mitzvah, they learn the Sefer HaMitzvahs, they learn 1 parak, and some who can't do learn the 3 learn 1. But here is the interesting thing. The Rebbe says, even Kinderlach learn Rambam. So what does the Rebbe tell us about the Rambam? The Rambam, Maimonides, he was a man who used to straighten out the people who were mixed up. Meire Nebuchim. You know what means a Nebuach? A guy that's a little straight. He's not straight, you know. He doesn't understand so much what he has to do. He hasn't got a clear-cut picture in his life. Comes the Rambam, and he teaches exactly how to live, and he teaches you how to be a mensch in plain, simple language. So what happens over here? So the Rambam says like this, listen to this. In the Pirush HaMishneh, he says, what happens? How do you get a hold of a kid that doesn't know nothing? Knows absolutely nothing. And now you come to him all of a sudden, you say, oh, you know, there's a big Torah, and there's mitzvahs, and you got to make brachas, and you got to do this. How do you do that? How do you speak to a kid? This kid doesn't look at you. He doesn't know what you're talking about. So you know what the Rebbe said, what the Rambam says, a very interesting thing. In order to be able to work him up and get him to want to do these things, you got to start doing it in a very nice way. How do you do it? You tell him, listen, the way to do this is, you got to tell him that there are sweet things, there are candies. You like candy? Hey, kid, you want a candy? You want a candy? Sure. Which kid doesn't want candy? Oh, it says, you know, the candy is from Hashem. You got to thank the Rabbeinu Shalom. You know, you got to make a bracha on the candy. It all came from God. So but even if he doesn't know yet that there's a Rabbeinu Shalom, but as you be, but he likes candy, and he likes nice clothes, and he likes money, and he likes nice shoes, and he likes a lot of nice things. So this is the way to get into this kid, you see. You start talking to him about all the nice candies and the nice things, and you tell him, how do you get this? He says, hey, kid, you want to get the candy? You want to get nice clothes? A very easy way to do it. So the kid says, yeah, how? He says, all you got to do is start learning Torah. All you got to do is start doing mitzvahs. You learn Torah, you do mitzvahs, the Rabbeinu Shalom is going to shower it down. He's going to give it to you. So, hey, listen, that's not really so nice. What are you telling the kid? You're telling the kid such a thing, and you're not telling him that you got to learn Torah l'shma. You got to learn Torah really because God said so, but you're giving him a different way out. You're giving him a whole way of how to do this, and you're giving him a whole different excuse that he's going to get candy, he's going to get clothes, he'll get all these good things and money. So how is that? So here comes the Rebbe Zal Gesund Sein and tells us what the Rambam teaches us. That the way to do this, you start off this way. But once you get him in, and once he tastes those sweet things of Torah, and once he sees how beautiful the mitzvahs are, and once he sees how wonderful it is to live according to Torah, then all of a sudden you'll be excited, because you're going to take a look and see that this kid is going to become a real fine Yiddish kid. So much so that Yismach Hashem b'maasav, the Rabbeinu Shalom, when he looks down on this little kid that you just spoke to about the candy, about all those nice things, the Rabbeinu Shalom is going to be very happy with that kid, because this is going to make the Rabbeinu Shalom very, very happy, because he sees that this little Yingala, this little Meidala, as the Rabbeinu Shalom, who created everything in heaven and earth. We said before, Bereshis Bar Elokim. So he was the one, of course, also made these sweet things and all these wonderful things. So the boys got to work with the boys, and the girls got to work with the girls. And then, says the Rebbe, it's going to be a matzasa. If you're going to work with them, you're going to be successful. You're going to accomplish, and you're going to fulfill that klal godel, that big rule in the Torah. And when you do this, through you, the Rabbeinu Shalom is going to see to it that you should have brachos in your own Torah and mitzvahs. And especially on a day that comes out, the rally is on a Tuesday, when it says twice in the Torah by creation, the words ki tov. It's going to be ki tov in both ways, ki tov for yourself and ki tov for your fellows, the boys and the girls. And you will be able to accomplish whatever you have to accomplish and do everything b'simcha v'tov levov.
Man hat so gerät mehrere Mal von den Baal Shem Tovs Anweisung und Entpleckung a jeder Sache bei Hashgacha Pratis, die doch echt verstandig, als in Zugang, was wir lernen dort davon, wo das ist ein Dienstig, ist dort dieselbe Ablernung von Tev zweimal bei jeder Dienstig von einem ganzen Jahr. Muss aber echt sein von den protestantischen Diensten, von Dienstag, Pasche, Schäfte, echt eine spezielle Anweisung in die Unionen, wegen welcher man hat sich zusammengeklebt in Zugang zu allen Unionen von dem Tag und speziell man hat sich doch zusammengeklebt beim im Chodesh, in einem Ort, wo wir daven zu dem Eibischen, und man hat gedaven zusammen. Und man hat gelernt den Eibischen Stele, Judbeis Psukim im Amore Chazal, und mit Eiche da noch Messiaen sein, mit Geben zu Doko, ist eine sichere Sache, als der Tag hat Eiche eine Lernung, was verbunden mit der Miet, was ist ausgeteilt von allen Diensten, von einem ganzen Jahr, worum gehört, der Dienstag und gehört zu Parche Schäfte. Und es ist dieselbe Sache, wie bald wie der Mond früher, hat mich so angenommen geworden, als mehrere und mehrere, lernen Aschir in Ramba, und das ist verbunden mit dem schieren Rambam von heimlichen Tag, wie das aufeinander geteilt für Kinder, von Bar Mitzvah und Bas Mitzvah. Und wie der Mond, hat die beiden Anweisungen seinen Teil von Teiras Chayim, an Anweisungen im tagtäglichen Leben und eine Teira a klare und a lichtige Anweisung. In was teilt sich heiß, Schäfte und sein Dienstag, mit der Dienstag von einem ganzen Jahr, was sich alle Genüsse machten sich Berührung, bin jedem Haschlischi, und was jeder von sie hat, echt eine protestische Anweisung, darf sich die Anweisung sein, eine klare und eine lichtige, ist das angewiesen in dem Wort Schäfte. Was sagt der Wort Schäfte? Man sagt, wie gleich in Gita gucken Teira, sagt man, a Schäfte und Schäfte im Titel Bechol Shorecho, als kann sich sein, der Jetze soll kommen zu gehen und werden mit Walbel sein und einreden, ein Kind, was fühlt noch nicht die Chochme von Teira, als genug was wird einwirken auf ein zweiten Kind, als jener soll sich fühlen, wie der Ewigste will. Und nicht ist schön jetzt, wenn gehe zu sich allein. Aber dort darf nicht auf sehr viel medaillig sein. Und wenn geht zu sich allein, soll nicht sein auf sehr viel. Der Jogaito sagt ihm gleich der Schäfte. Und der Ewigste durch den Posek von Schäfte. Zum allermeisten, der erste Posek von der ganzen Woche, bleibst du aufstellen, Schäfte, Chodesh, wo sie wollen abmischbeten, alle deine Bilwov beficho, Bilwov und Laseise, zu der Fischzach in Asami Leifen, aber soll sein Korre zu dem Ebersten, oder wenn geht zu sich allein, willst nicht nutzen, dem Jogaito und mit der Ämste Starkheit, wie du nutzt das, wenn geht zur Zweiten, wie früher der Mond. Bischaß stellt auf, bei sich allein als Schäfer, auf sich allein und der Schäfer wird nicht mit nur machen, der Mämsen Cheshben, der Dämmelt ist eine sichere Sache, als wird sich haben, als wenn geht zu sich allein, darf echt sein, der Inne von Jogaito in alle Sachen von Niedigkeit und nechet mit der Simcha vetuvli wo. Sie do amol als meise sibasche Tier, helft noch nicht, wo der Schäfer, sein eigener Schäfer, sein idischer Herz und der idische Seichel, oder sein Melamed und der Teacher und der Madrich und Madricha sagen helft das nicht, meise sibasche Tier, oder damals sagt Reich im Posek wie Scheitrin, aber man darf gleich aufstellen ein Policeman, ein ruchnisdicken Policeman, soll wissen sein, aber das, was der Schäfer sagt dass bekehrt von dem Nebischten, was mekehrt kol ha-broche ist, und was ist, wie wird Teshto gesagt, als nicht so Allah, und beichen Levu Klois in Nevdei Koroi, und der Vater Monte der Schäfer noch einmal, wo der Schäfer totem gepasst, angewiesen, und damit ist eine sichere Sache, als wird tun, Bishorecha, in seine eigene Themen, in seine eigene Dalle Dames, in seine eigene Huis, und mit sich allein, wie der Ewigste will. Und noch mehr sagt mir, als wie sie sich Chodesh Elul, wo das in der Chechet bei Ashgocha Protis, darf das Echet haben eine klare Anweisung, Teiro Eid, und eine Anweisung bei Chai, in dem Leben von jedem von euch und von jedem von uns, sagt mir, der alte Rebbe hat eine Galle gewählt, als hebt sich schon Chodesh Elul, ist auch damals der Melech Basode, was in Chodesh Elul, in der Onnet von Chodesh Elul ist dort 2 Tage, wie bald alle David Hawaii Eiri, wie Ishi, heeft men nun sagen, den nächsten Tag des Chodesh, i das ist doch ein Hocher, a der Melech Basode, wo demut beheit ne Melech Chaim, hebt sich schön an von dem nächsten Tag. Sagt man jeder Rieden anhebendig von gar kleine Kinder, als pure Chodesh Elul, von dem nächsten Tag des Chodesh Elul, ist noch mehr wie ein ganzes Jahr, ist Hashem nicht so Allah, kann doch meinen, aber das ist mehr nicht, wenn ist angetan in jüdische Kleider und 40 in jüdische Mitzvahs, sagt man ihm, als viele, wenn gefühlt sich Basode in Feld, tut Sachen, wo das tut nicht in Meichen, hält den Mieten Essen oder Mieten trinken oder ähnliche Sachen, was noch so wird gemacht, die Broche. Und halten Mieten essen, ich sagt ihm der Jeze, als Chas wie Scholem, nicht auch kein Unterschied zwischen und ein anderes Kind, alle gefunden sich Basode, in derselbe Feld, wo das nicht in ihr Mescher. Sagt ihm aber, das ist ein Sode von einem Jiden. Und ein Sode von einem Jiden hebt kommt von dem ersten Tag von der Chodesh Elul, gefindet sich dort der Melech, wo das Melech Malcha am Lochim HaKodesh Baruch Hu, wo Boris HaShamayim ve'es ha'oretz, und ist Mare Ponim Sheichakes, beweist a schmeicheldigen Ponim, und wartet, sollen geben die Bakosche seine. Als besser bei dem Melech hat der Jeze, ist mit Walbo, und will nicht zulassen, soll sein so mehr. In Avedas Hashem, sagt der alte Rebbe in dem Moschel, a der Rebeste, der Melech Basode, nimmt on die Bakosches, bevon ihm Sheichakes, und ich sehe ihm alle, wenn ich sie der Reino, der Rebbe der Schwere, das Mäßig, in Bemamore HaYodua, wo das ist die Anweisung von dem speziellen Dienste, wo ist in Parsche Schäfti, und hat in sich die Sache, was kommt mit der Chodesh Elul, an der Melech Basode, und echt mit den Schieren Rambam. Wo die Schieren Rambam von Kindern ist heim der Mitzwe von Schatneis und echt das Volle von Matnes Anien von Peer. Und auch da ist echt, da ist auch da, was noch Bar Mitzwe und Bas Mitzwe und trachten sich. Was redet man zu sehen, kindische Sachen? Wir dürfen sie etwas reden, ernste Sachen, dürfen sie wissen sein, dass das, was man redet, in dem Nussach von Kindern ist das übergesetzt geworden. Von der Fuh, was man gesehen in des Vorhin, wie man redet, das war erwachsen. Was lernt ein Kind mit der Schatne? Übergesetzt der Fuh, was gesagt worden von Erwachsene, die Sache von Schatne ist, aber man soll nicht mischen in ein Kleid, was in welchem ist angetan und das Waren und das Nuss, soll man nicht nützen, kein Zähner und Pischken. Kein Wohl zusammen mit Flachs steht auf der Ruf eine von den Teilen in der. Als wie Flachs ist das, sie mehr min Hadoma, das ist von einer Gewicht. Und Zähmer ist das von einer Bauchai, darf Jid wissen, aber man darf nicht mischen. Die Avede, was darf tun, mit Zeneach, mit der Avede, was darf tun, mit der Bauchai. Punkt wie bei einer Gehe, wie der Mond fliehe. Also dort der Avede, was man darf tun, mit der Zweiten. Und demol darf man zugehen zum Kind und sagen ihm, wir werden geben die Süßigkeit und wir werden geben die Mneoli. Abida noch soll sich setzen lernen in Teiro, waren das Rätsel wegen ein Kind, was hat noch nicht sicher gewesen zu einem Goldstar, kein Jesibase. Ich hasse aber, es Rätsel wegen dem, was hoch in dem Goldstar, was ist ein Nemeser, Balchai und Medabe, Tore nicht zugehen zu sich mit dem Zugang und sagen, a früher will haben die Süßigkeiten. Und danach wird sich setzen, lernen in Teiro. Nur sie darf sein wie der Mond früher, schäft ihn wie schäft im Titelbechor. Darf wegstellen sein, schäft auf sich allein und dem schäft auf sich allein und betrachten sich, wie kommt Gott zusammen Tiefschuss, auf zu sagen, wenn mit Kaim sein und der Griechen zu Yismach, Hawaii bemeißel, wenn wir früher geben Süßigkeiten. Das darf sich sein, der größte Periode, auf machen dem Seder, wie beim Nordru, wie man schon bekommen, dem Chinuch, und mit der Riebe gegangen, von Hodon, Eitz, Asode, von Zemeach, und mit der Riebe gegangen, in Chai und in Medabe, und man hat schon beim Seichel, von einer lebendigen Seichel, was hat ihm erklärt, was der Yismach ist zu Hawaii bemeistert. Und damals ist Echet, sagt mir, dass nicht nur meine Gehe zu Jinien, was darf nicht mischen. Und darf Echet sein in die Sachen, was tut bei Sünde, darf gleich herübergehen zu der Mitzvah Peyo, wie der Mond friert. Als der Chamelech Basode, in der erste Sache, am geht rein als Ayi, in Asode, der Monten der Schir von heutigen Tag, als soll wissen sein, als darf losen a Peyo, a Winkel, a Teil von dem Sode, darf das losen für Anien, für die, was haben nicht kein eigenes Sode, oder für die, was haben nicht gehabt den Schuss und den Masel, man soll sie es lernen. Also sie sollen werden echte Meich und Chai und sollen werden mit Dabel, Odem, Atem, die, welche Teire, Ruzion, Ben Avrom, Yitzchak, Vejankiv und Bas, Sore, Rivke, Roch und Leo und was Mosei auch gegeben, die ganze Teire. Und da ist Hechet, wo das Hechet speziell vergräßt, weil sollen sie sich nicht übereinander kleiden. In dem Ziel von dem Rambam von Ilche Schatnes fragt der Rambam die Scheile, fragt die Forscher von der Rambam die Scheile, wie ist das da ein klein niedriges Kind, zu merken Anton Schatnes, und dort darfen bewohnen, sie da ein schöner dicker Teus, als sie da sehen, was trachten, a Mitzvah Schatten ist das mehr nicht für Schorin, nicht für Frauen und nicht für Mädchen und nicht für kleine Kinder. Wo der Dini, dass sie gleich, sei für Männer und sei für Frauen, in der ganze Riese von Schatten ist a viele Frauen Kleider oder a Frauen Tischler, wie Kajetze Basel, Punkt wie das ist bei größten Lewusch von einem erwachsenen Mann. Und danach bringt sich Heche der Mincha Schiner der Chkire, was sie bei einer Gehe zu einem kleinen Kind, wo es noch fahrt Bar Mitzvah oder Bas Mitzvah, zieht da Heche, was mit Toren, mit Tonton, kein Schatten ist, nicht mit Zatchino. Wo gleich das zu, aber das ist Punkt wie bei Maki, fürs Hakot, und wenn man geht, abscheren die Peis, an den Rufe sehe so an Israel auf dem Gordel, auf ein Vater oder eine Mutter, wie kann jetzt über sie, auf abschneiden die Peis, auf Alpiva, das ist die Peis von Hakotten. Und dieselbe Sache, wenn man geht, am Malbisch, es ein Schatten ist, a tuter Sohn, auf a klein Kind, ist aber Malbisch. Schatten ist, hat auf der Ruf der Verantwortlichkeit mit den ganzen Sturen, was ist in dem, mehr nicht, weil der Kottne nicht in Bar Eischen, in dem Einisch bekommt der, was im Malbisch. Es ist da echt ein zweites Wort, was bringt dort, wie Baudober, aber es gefindt sich zwischen Ktanis, wo sie haben die Adei bis abgedeckt, also am Gehazet kamen mich nicht Balpe und Gedenken dort. Und werden Teil und Mekaya Mitzvah, haben sie sich schon Adeo mehr nicht, was in der Rheinische nicht, Benele sagt das nicht, aber beschaß mit Tuton, Chasse, Scholem, Rachmane, Litzvah, Mal Bushatne, auf ein kleines Kind, soll man wissen sein, dass Dober Osser nicht nur mit Zatchino, nur echt mit dem Dien der Zivu in der Teire. Und davon kommt man echt zu, wie der Mond friert, zu einer klaren Anweisung, für jedem von euch, wenn geht zu alle Sachen von Niedigkeit wie der Mond flieh, als Ubiklolus, am ist verbunden, jeder hat dem Onsor, unendig von kleinen Kindern. Als sie da Mitzvahs, wo sie werden angerufen, Mitzvah-Sefer, darf das tun und darf das Mekare sein, der soll das können tun. Und hat echt Mitzvahs, Sefer, wo der tut das nicht tun, darf das merachig sein und erweitern von sich. Wo das echt eine von den Teilen von Schatten ist, aber tut das nicht mischen, has wir schon. Und die Sachen, was darf Mekare sein zu sich, aber was ist so, geben sie doch hier und geben Pelle, wenn hat ein Feld und dann in den Tag mit Sorgen, Meida Nile von Echo, Melle, Chai, Kayo, sagt, bin ich Mossi, Bechemlo, Rabo, Emunah. Und nicht wissen die Gleiber am Monibs von Tod, als darf sich nicht zuriegen, zu keine Sachen von Essensachen und Ähnliches. Jeder wascht Nägelwasser oder sie wascht Nägelwasser, durch drüber sich halten auch gesund, der weitet von den Essensachen, bis wann wascht Nägelwasser. Und als bemächtigt von dem ganzen Tag, darf nicht mischen, Zämmer und Pischt im Chesed, und Gwura zusammen, Jemine, Kareves, und Meildeche, und das geht durch was tut, in den Sachen, was man darf sehen, mit Karre sein, in Jonim Scholkiru, und die Sachen, was man darf sehen, der weiter nicht sagen, Chas Vescholen, a schwer Wort auf Jeden, und man war mit Schuh sein auf Jeden, und wünschen jeder Rieden alle Bloches mit alle Hatzloches, das lernt der Schiff von Rambam von heimtigen Tag. Und wie der Mond frie, aber sie scheiche es echt zu akkotten, werde Maskone Mincha Chinuch und unter Dämmelt in der Rebester Matzliach, aber Kore Mamosh wird kommen der Gula Hamitis war Schleimer und mit kommen in Ere Stevur Chowo. Und jeder Ried wird bekommen seine Dalle-Dames oder Amma-Achas, die Sode seine in Eretz Yisroel. Und die dorten können kein sein, der Mitzvahs hat Louis Boris unheimlich von Mitzvahs Peyer, Nina Teiro und mit den ganzen Sturen, warum sie sein, der Eretz, asher Tomi, den Hashem Elekechabo. Reishis Ashona war Dachri Shona. Und der Meller Basode wird mitgehen mit jeder Rieden in sein Sode, also sein ein gebälschte Feld und ein gebälschter Leben, dem ganzen Jahr, wie Ficho und wie Wovcho la Seise.
We had a very interesting Shia Rambam just now. And I'll see if I can say it over as clearly as the Rebbe said it over to us. But you got to give me your attention. The Rebbe speaks here about the fact that the Baal Shem Tov taught us that everything that we see and we hear, we have a certain direct connection with it. So the Rebbe says, in addition to the fact that it's Tuesday, that we have many of our rallies on a Tuesday, which is a special day on the weekday calendar because it says 2 times Kitoiv. But when you have this kind of a rally today, on a Tuesday in which the Sedra of the week is Shoftim, which we had to read already and learn the Pasha of Shoftim. So he says there must be a special lesson in connection with this day. And especially if we're meeting in a holy place, Hamokim Chodesh, the Shul of the Rebbe, and this is a place where we just have Mincha, and we learn Torah, we said the 12 Psukim, and we're going to give you a tzedakah right away before we leave from here. So absolutely, this day is a special day and has a special lesson for each and every one of us. What's the specialty of this day that Shoftim comes to teach us? And then besides that, we know that if it comes out on a day when we're learning Rambam, so we got a connection with the Rambam also. So it most probably has a connection with the Rambam that we're learning, even as is divided up for children. And as we find that this is Torah, this is Torah that gives us the light and the clarity of mind, so that we should know exactly how to live and how to conduct ourselves. So the Rebbe starts off and says like this: listen, you got to understand what is the specific, clear and concise message of the day. Shaitim. That's what the first word of the Sedra. That's the message. What does this mean? Look how the Rebbe works it out this time. See, we always think we know what the Rebbe is going to say, but only when you listen you find out how you don't begin to know what he's going to say. This is what the Rebbe told us here. The Yetzer Hara comes and says to you, listen, you know what? You're such a nice guy. You're talking to your friends, and you're getting your friends involved in the study of Torah, and you're getting your little girl involved. She should study Torah and do mitzvahs. So you know what the Yetzer Hara comes and says, listen, buddy, that's only for them. You're doing such a beautiful job. About yourself, no big spiel. You don't have to work so hard on yourself. You can take it easy. You get away with it. Nicht gefährlich, not too terrible. Oh, comes the Torah, and Torah says, listen, buddy, Shaiftim. The Rabbeinu Shalom says, the first pasuk of the Parsha of the week says, you got to make a judge for yourself. You know what that judge is? That judge has to watch you. And the judge has to see what are you doing with your mouth, and what are you doing with your heart, and what's happening in your cup. What are you thinking about? How are you conducting yourself? And the Shafet says to you, listen, fella, you got to know that you're very close to God, and you don't want Chalila v'chas, that God should be looked down upon you. Now, right? You want the Rabbeinu Shalom to be happy with you. So the fact that you are busy, you're getting someone else interested, doesn't put you free, that you don't have to work with yourself. But no, the first thing is shaitim. You got to see to it to put yourself, you got to be judged yourself first. And then you got to be sure, and you got to understand that you have to be your gaita. You got to work with yourself, and you got to work with simcha. You got to do it with joy. And then you have to understand, who is the shofet? Who is the judge? Where do you get a judge to judge yourself? So that's your heart, and that's your seichel, and that's your teacher, and that's your madrech. But what happens if it doesn't help? It doesn't help. Oh, your teacher talks to you, or your counselor talks to you, and you don't listen. It doesn't work. Comes the next word in the Sedra. Not only should you have a judge, but v'shoitrim. You gotta have a cop. You gotta have a policeman, a spiritual, a geistige policeman, that he's gonna watch. What is the policeman gonna do? The policeman is gonna say to you, now listen, you better listen what the judge says. You know why? Because he's telling you what the Rabbeinu Shalom says. The Rabbeinu Shalom who gives all the brachas, and the Rabbeinu Shalom who's standing right near you, your commander-in-chief. And you know what else? The Rabbeinu Shalom is looking into your heart and into your head, and he sees what's doing over there. You should know that this policeman keeps reminding you, Kinderlach, you better listen to what your judge says to you. And then, if you will listen to that policeman who keeps on reminding to you that you have to listen to the judge, then b'chol she'orecha, in everything that you do in your house, and where you go, and where you walk, and where you talk, and where you find yourself, that everything will be just as the Rabbeinu Shalom wants. But that's not all. Now comes the second thing. It's Rosh Chodesh today, right? In the Rosh Chodesh, we have again another very important lesson. Now, I'm sure everybody knows this by now. All the Kinderlach must know this. I know all the girls in Camp Emunah know this. That there's Melech Basoda, the Alter Rebbe tells us, that when it comes Chodesh the month of El, the king leaves his palace, where he sits all the time secluded, all the year where you can't get to the king. But all of a sudden the king comes out. And he comes out not on the second day of Rosh Chodesh. He comes out on the first day of Rosh Chodesh. Because how do you know he's there the first day? Because we already said today, LeDavid Hashem Oiri. You remember? We already spoke about LeDavid Hashem Oiri. Why is it? Because you're meeting the king in the field, and you're already saying hello to him. Now, what is this is all about? You got to tell them like this. Hashem Nitzavol of God is near us. And because God is near us, right from the beginning of the month of Elul, so you think that only when is God near you? When you're dressed in your special clothing and you're doing mitzvahs? So, no! God is basodeh. When you're in the field, in the work clothes, when you're doing whatever everybody else is doing. You're eating and drinking, of course. First you got to make a brocha. And you're already in the middle of the meal that you're eating. Comes the Yetzer Hara and he says to him, listen, now you're like everybody else. You're like all the other kids in the field. What makes you different than anybody else? So you tell him, listen, you got to understand that this is a little different. That I'm in the field, but I'm a Yiddish kin. I'm entirely different. And you should know what it is you say to the Yetzer Hara. You dummy. You don't understand what's going on over here. It's Chodesh Elul. You know what Chodesh Elul is? Melech Basodeh. I came out to say hello to the king. You know which king? Melech Malchei HaMelochim. HaKodesh Baruch Hu. The Rabbeinu Shalom himself comes out into the field, into the heaven and earth that the Rabbeinu Shalom created. And what happens? The Rabbeinu Shalom shows a smiling face. The king smiles to us. Now, you know what it means like when the Rebbe gives a smile to somebody. He feels like $1,000,000, right? He gets a smile out of the boss. You feel so great. So when the Rabbeinu Shalom smiles to Yiddish Giddelach, out Basodeh, can anybody knock that down? Oh, you can't do nothing. You can't beat it because that's the greatest thing. And what? You know what else? The Rabbeinu Shalom smilingly waits and says to the kid, listen, kid, tell me what you want. Tell me what you need. And he tells him, listen, Yetzer Hara, hey, you don't get me crazy, will you? Stop bothering me and get out of here because you're such an idiot. You don't understand nothing. You have to understand that I am with the Rabbeinu Shalom. What kind of business do you got to bother me today? And the Rabbeinu Shalom is going to accept whatever I ask. And the Frierdiker Rebbe emphasized this and told us how important it is and how wonderful it is when comes the month of Elul. It comes the Parsha of Shoftim, and it comes the Melech Basodeh, and all this is together. Wow, are we lucky? Are we kids lucky? We got all the great things. We know how to take care of ourselves. We know how to prepare ourselves. We're going to be meeting with the king. What could be better than that? And here comes the Rebbe soll gesund sein, and he learns with us a shir in Rambam. Okay, now listen attentively. What is this today? The mitzvah has to do with the children. There are two things. That's the mitzvah of shatnez and the mitzvah of payah. What does this mean? Even before some could think, this is you only got to give it to kids who are bar mitzvah already or bas mitzvah. No, it's not that way. You have to understand that wherever we talk to children is that which we spoke to the adults, and that comes down translated to the children. What is shatnez? Shatnez is like this. In a garment that you wear, and you got to listen the girls have to listen to this because the Rebbe gave a very important instruction to the girls there. So listen attentively out there. Shatnez is like this. You're not allowed to wear a garment that has linen and wool together. That's the Din HaTorah. One reason is because linen grows. It grows in the field. And wool you take from an animal. That comes off like from a lamb, lamb's wool, and so on. So what comes over here? The Torah comes to teach it. The Rambam teaches us, and based on what the Torah tells us, the mitzvah of shatnez, that you don't mix the two. That which grows is separate. That which you take from an animal is separate. And you must understand that these are two separate things. And here comes the Rebbe and says to us that we shouldn't be like all the other kids. The other kid, we tell him, listen, you want candy, you got to do this and this. But here we have to understand, to us, we don't have to talk this way. We understand already. We learned already. We know already what it means. We know what the difference between what means linen, something that grows, and something that's about chai. We became already higher. We are already no more candy kind of kids. We are already kids who know something. And we are the ones who shaped in the shaitrim on ourselves. We put on ourselves already the judges and the policemen. And then you turn around and you say, how could we be so foolish? And how could we, chas v'sholem, do something that we should think only about the sweets? That's the only way we're going to do what has to be done. We're going to do whatever has to be done because the Eibishter, we are already about seichel. We are pretty smart people. We understand already. He said you got to be the biggest idiot to have to work under these conditions. But after we know already that we have worked ourselves up, we are chayim medaber, from chay we became a medaber. We are a people that understands we have seichel, and we are realize that Yisbach Yisroel, Yisbach Hashem b'maisav, that the Rabbeinu Shalom is proud of us, and so on and so forth. So we say that we have to understand and realize that these two don't mix. That's the mitzvah of shatnez. But not only that, there is also the mitzvah of payah. When you grow out to see the king in the field, the first thing you have to do, as the Shia tells us, is you must leave a corner of the field for the poor. You have to think of those who are not so fortunate. And Nebuch, who didn't have the schus, or they didn't have the luck to have a field. But if you got a field, when you go out to the Melech Basoda, the first thing you do, put away a little piece for them. They should also be able to reach up, and they should become no more, they should be like the animals. They should be like the trees. They should become already a Madaba. They too should become a mensch. They should realize that they are children of Avraham, Yitzchak, Yankim, and Sorah, Rivka, Rocha, Valeah, to whom the Torah was given. And the same thing comes to adults. Now, here is what the Rebbe comes to tell us. That there is a terrible, terrible mistake in the world. People think that the mitzvah of shatnez is only for the men folk, not for the women. He says it's not so. Women's clothes have to be checked for shatnez just like men's. So much so, even the tichel, the head covering that a woman wears, also got to be checked that it isn't shatnez. And the question comes, what about a kid? Do you have to watch a kid from putting on shatnez, or a kid, after he's a little kid, what has he got to do with shatnez? So you have to understand like this, that there too, there is a shaila in halacha, and the Rebbe brought down the Mincha's chinuch over here, that we should understand what is the situation with little children. And what is it, the halacha? Is it only because you have to teach your child? You got to educate him, you got to teach him mitzat chinuch to do away from it, do away with it. Or is this the same thing like cutting off the payas? A father is not allowed to cut his kid's payas off. He gets an avera for that. The kid is not yet a baranchi. The kid doesn't know these things. He's not responsible. But if a father, chas v'sholem, cuts off the payas by a kid, he's responsible for chas v'sholem. He committed a terrible sin. So the same thing comes when it comes to the mitzvah of shatnez, that a kid is not allowed to wear wool and linen together just like an adult. That's not only because the mitzvah of chinuch, but this is a halach in the Torah, this is a din in the Torah. The only thing is, since the child himself still has not reached that position that he should be responsible for what he is doing, so what happens is the father carries and the mother carries the responsibility. But here comes the Rebbe, and he said that you have to understand that you children, you're already different. You announced that you had gold stars. You're kids who know already how the Chazon Mishnah is Valpeh. And you are kids who understand already how to fulfill the mitzvahs that have to be done. And not to do the mitzvahs of lo say. So the same thing already when it comes to shatnez, it's the same thing. You have to understand that it's not only because of chinuch, but now it's already because it's a halacha. And kindalach, I want to tell you something. You know why the Rebbe is telling you? Not all your fathers are here. The next time you're going to go out to buy a suit for Yontif, make sure, and the girls, when you go out to buy a coat or whatever garment you're going to be buying, make sure you find out if it has shatnez. Because if Chalila v'chas it has shatnez, you're not allowed to wear it. You cannot buy that suit, or that dress, or that coat, or even that tichel. And we speak about big kids and little kids. We're all the same thing when it comes to mitzvahs Hashem. So the Rebbe speaks about the union of Avas Yisroel, how we have to carry the message out to others. And we have to see to it that we should judge ourselves, and to give tzedakah, and to leave a part of our field for the poor, and to say Modani, to thank the Rabbeinu Shalom for all that he gave us and gave us back our neshama in the morning. And you got to wash Negelwasser. I'm sure all you kinderlach from Camp Gan Yisroel and Camp Emunah know, because in camp, in your bunks, we taught you that you're not allowed to touch anything or any food before you wash Negelwasser in the morning. But this is what has to be told also to your friends. And they have to also know that they have to have this great and beautiful combination. And this has to be the way to do it. Only with good, in a good way. And here says the Rebbe, no fights. Don't talk badly to others. Be nice to them. And try to find a good word for them. And if you'll do this, and you'll wish them good, you'll see how nice they'll come over to your side. So this comes today, the Shiur of the Rambam for the little kids. And teaches us and tells us exactly what we have to remember about the mitzvah of shatnez, and also that you're not allowed to put on the shatnez, and also the mitzvah of giving charity to the poor by leaving part of the field. And here comes the bracha of the Rebbe that we should, the Rabbeinu Shalom should give us great success, and they should bring us the real Geula Shlema very speedily. And we should go to Eretz Yisroel, and each one of us should have his own field, and each one of us should be able to be Makayim the mitzvah of Peyah, and all the mitzvahs that are tied in with the Eretz Yisroel, with the land of Eretz Yisroel. The land asher toveh deini Hashem Elokecha bo mereish Shona v'adach Shona. The land where the eyes of Hashem Yisborach never leaves that land, the holy land Eretz Yisroel. And when there's Melech Basodeh, the king will go along with us in the field, and he will bless the field and bless the year, that it will be beficha b'vavcha la'asoisai, that we will be able to carry out what the Rabbeinu Shalom wants us to do, b'simcha v'tov levov.
Bei jeder Kenntnis, sicher in der Kenntnis, was zusammenkleiden soll, was verbunden mit Elul. Und wenn der Melech Basode und gibt jeder von uns die größte Tzedaka, als beheit Pnei Melech Chayim, wie der Mond früher dem alten Rebbes Werte, als beweist jeder von euch und jeder von uns und jeder von dem jüdischen Volk von dem Scheichakes auf freilichen und erlichtigen Ponne. Und mit Kabel sehen, jeden Besever von dem Jochis, und nimmt tegen Ton der alle Bakosches, in der Sicher, am in Bejesser noch Bejesser Seis und Bejesser Eis, wie bei jeder Kenntnis, darf man nicht mit Seim sein, mit Mäßig sein, und da soll sein nicht der Sim und der Abschmuss, durch der Mitzvah Tzedaka, und der Vater wird nicht teilen, jeder von den Kindern und nicht von den Erwachsenen, zu 3 Matbeis, was in dem Prat, in der Sache von den Erwachsenen, was man darf noch mechanisch sein, in einige Unionen von Jüdischkeit, in welche sie dürfen wachsen, noch mehr, wie von sie wissen, bis ist und von die 3 Matbeis, eine abgeben auf Zdoko und der andere 2 Ton lede verleiht von jedes Mediv Liebe, von jedes Herz, nicht nur soll Peil sein, da Cholol Haimine, der Jeser Tevos bei meinem Herzen, soll anweisen, was man darf tun mit der Matbeie und mit seinem eigenen Geld. Nur soll sein sicher, a der, was mit der Zeit früher, ich gewähne Cholol Asmolid und Matamongel von Jeze, was Heper von Tev, hat man Mechaner gewähnt, und ja Geister hat mit ihm gehorret, bis wann es mit ihm übergekehrt, und sie geworden bechole Woffe, wie gesagt in Krishme, jeder Tag und sicher heutigen Tag, also sein wir Hafto, ich soll bechole Woche, mit zwei Besen, wo das echt Kehle, an hat gehorvet und gepeilt auf den Jetzer, was früher gewähnt heter von Teil, als soll lechet sein, wie haft es Hawaii bekecher. Auch Herren mit Walbel sein, man wird auch noch Ares helfen, in noch mehr lernen Teil und noch mehr mit keinem sein Mitzvah. Und als echt in der Mitzvah, was in der Kareves es hat Gehülle, der Mitzvah hat Zdoko, Schaß mit Kummen in Yisroel, Pei und Schein Nitzte, wenn geht zu Geld und Ähnliches, gefragt Zdoko zusammen mit Kader sein, jüdische Kinder zur Jüdischkeit und zu alle guten Dulden, zu alle guten Sachen. Und wie gemord der Mond kam von ihm, darf so sein jeder Linien, bis Simcha auf Turli wo, wird nechet wie bei jeder Kennes, begleiten das mit Nigunim shal Simcha, unheimlich, mit Nigen, wie es früher gesungen von 8 Tzadikim, danach den Nigen, als mir will Mashiachs kommen, gar in Gichen, wo demut wird sein, mit einem Nigen, der gewohne Beis Hamikdash, bim Heira Biyamenu, mit allen Indionen, was eine verbunden mit dem Beis Hamikdash. Wo das alte doch verbunden durch den, was alle Jiden, unendlich von kleinen Kindern, dann stehen alle zusammen durch Avas Yisroel und Nagdes Yisroel. Wird es werden Schleimus haben. Und das wird sein durchgenommen mit Jüdischkeit, mit Lernen Teiro, mit Mekayim sein Mitzvah, Schleimus hat Teiro, wo das ist noch mehr Zuheilung. Die Schleimus Oret, als Yisroel wird sein ganz, mit nicht können honorieren, keinen Breckel von ihr, in Unionen von Jüdischkeit sicher nicht, und auch viele nicht in Unionen Gashmi, der Fall, was sie wird sein, und jeder wird sehen bei sich, und wird das beweisen, der alle herum sich auch viele nicht hin, aber dass wird, asher tol mit den Hashem bekechabo, Reishis Ashona Vadach Rishona, nicht nur Rosh Hashanah, und nicht nur der Erev Rosh Hashanah, und nicht nur Shabbosim und Meyadim und Yomim Neroim, nur Reich von jeder Tag und jeder Rege, von ein ganzes Jahr, wird jeder Ried machen bei sich, aber wir sehen, dass dort ist Göttlichkeit. Und durch wird man nicht sehen, ein ganzer Yisroel, durchgenommen mit einer Hashem Bekecho, werden das Eiche der Sehen, die nicht in der andere Völker. Und nicht nur, sie werden nicht ohne ihn, Yisroel, Chas Risholen, nur Adarabe, sie werden beschützen, Yisroel, und werden neigen sein auf viel, von allen nicht gewünschenen Sachen, und sie wird sein an Eretz, Tevur, Chovo, noch in der letzten Tag von Golus, die istige Tag, wird er sein dort ein Teil an Nire und an Nigle, und mit Zergräten, zusammen mit dem Melech Basode, zu bekommen, die Xiva, Wachsima, Teva, Lishona, Teva und Mesuko, in der letzten Tag und Regolim von Golus, und seien dich sicher in der Nebischen Brache und durch noch mehr Zugehen in Niedigkeit, in Lernen Teo und Mekayim sein Mitzvahs, wird Gott in Gichen noch schneller Mekuyen werden, die Schleimusoret, bis in Yarchiv Havayas Gwulcho, als wird sein als Schleimus mit der Harchova, wie gerät mehrere Mal, noch in der letzten Tag von Golus, und mit sich alle Geräten, die Jiden, was gefunden sich in Eretz Akedisch, was mit Tor nicht machen kann, Chiluk von a Jiden bis a Jiden, zu welchem a Pfleger soll nicht gehören, hat a Chiluk bekam im Mal Mamosh, und an gegen den Nebischen kann sich keiner nicht stellen. Und wie bald er gehört zu einem Mann kochen wie Novi, ist sicher, als ein kluger Mensch und ein kluger Ried wird gleich ohne im Eisfilm den Nebischen rotzen und nicht viel mehr bis Simcha Tuli wohl, was die alle Sachen zusammen will noch mehr zuheilen, als wird sein der so geht Somla Chesher, als sein der so von den Golus, bescheite Chode und beriege Chode, und bei jener Chode, und mit der Seher, was jeder und alle Jeden stehen, in der Nähe von Kohl Godu, ki Shechat Chaveri, in Eretz Yisroel, wo sie ist Eretz Achas, und dort in Gufen Yerushalayim Mira Chodesh Kiryas Melech Rov, und dort in Gufen Har HaBayit, was wird angerufen, Har Hashem, den Nebischen Bar, und dort in Gufen Beis HaMikdash, Migdash Adne Kenen und Yodecho, Sheibone Bimheira Biyameinu Mamos.
The Rebbe said that just like by every other rally, the month of Elul is tied in, as we mentioned before, with the Melech Basodeh. So we're going to be giving tzedakah and we're going to be giving this in the light of Pnei Melech Chaim, in the light of the living King, who we're going to show him. All of us are going to show him. All Klal Yisrael, to whom he shows a smiling face and listens to us and accepts everything that we ask of Hashem Yisborach. We ask of him, of the Melech Basod, of the King. Whatever we ask of him, he gives us. So we're sure that this rally is going to be with a lot more power than all the rallies that we had up to now. And we're going to finish up the rally with the giving of tzedakah, where every single one, both children and the big children, I mean the adults, and each one is going to get 3 coins. And here the Rebbe put a footnote, and he said that some of the big children, there are a lot of things yet that they have to be taught also. Not everything are they yet perfect. There are a lot of things that has to do with the Yiddishkeit that they have to grow up in. So that's the reason he sort of referred to some of the big boys over here as little boys, and that they should also understand what's before them. And we're going to give 1 coin for tzedakah. The other one is going to be given, that we should be able to do with it as we wish, and we're going to show the Yetzer Hara. We're going to show the Yetzer Tov what we're going to be doing with it. Well, of course, we're going to knock out the Yetzer Hara with that. That he should know that not only are we pleasing the Yetzer Tov, but we're going to work it out that even the one on the left side, the heart is on 2 sides, you know. They got on one side is the right side is the Yetzer Tov, and on the other side is the Yetzer Hara. So we're going to tell this guy he should know that we're going to be giving tzedakah, and we should tell him, listen, fella, we worked on you long enough, and we're going to make no more. You're not going to be no more Yetzer Hara. They're going to be 2 Yetzer Tovs. You know how that works? When you work on them and you turn them over, like we say in Trishbe b'cholavavcha, with 2 bays. What's the 2 bays? Both hearts. The one side of the heart, the Yetzer Tov, and the other side of the heart. That you work on him, that you should turn him over, and he should also work to help in Avas Hashem, to the love for Hashem Yisborach. And automatically, once he comes over to the right side, he'll stop draining our cup, he'll stop bothering us with his nonsense. And in fact, instead of trying to hurt us, he's going to help us fulfill the mitzvah Samasim Tatum that we have to do and study Torah. And this tzedakah is going to bring the Geula Shlema very quickly. Also in Eretz Yisroel, through the fact that we're going to bring Yiddish Kinderlach closer to Hashem Yisborach, and we're going to do everything with a lot of joy. So, we're going to end the Kinnus with the singing of Ach Tzadikim first, and then we're going to sing We Want Mashiach Now, then we're going to sing Sheyabona Beis HaMikdash, and everything else that has to do with the Beis HaMikdash, and through the fact that Yiddish Kinderlach, that we are tied in with each other through the Avas Yisrael, the love for each other, and the unity of each other. This will bring about that Klal Yisrael be one. No Chalila v'chas, no separations. No separations in Yiddishkeit and in Torah and mitzvahs. Shleimus HaTorah. The Torah will be a complete Torah. And then this will bring about that it should be a Shleimus HaEretz Yisrael should be complete. Not only complete in Yiddishkeit, but in the physical sense. And we're going to show everybody and tell everybody that this is the land where the eyes of Hashem Yisborach are always there. Not only Erev Rosh Hashanah, not only Erev Rosh Hashanah, not only Shabbos and Yom Tov, but every second of the year. And each and every one of us will see the godliness, that it's going to be a complete Eretz Yisrael. And not only that for ourselves, but we're going to show the nations of the world that God watches over us and continues to protect us. This will bring about that the other nations of the world, not only will they not hurt us, not only will they not touch us, but they will assist us, they will help us, that it should become an Eretz Teva Chava, a beautiful land and a wonderful, wealthy land for these, even in the last days of the Golus. And this should be that kind of goodness that everybody should be able to see it with their own eyes. And the Melech Basoda, the king in the field, who stands for who's next to us and waits to smiles to us. The Melech Basoda is going to give each and every one of us Aksiva v'achsima teva l'shana teva mesuka, a good year and a sweet year and a blessed year. And then the last minutes that we still find ourselves in Golus, the Rabbeinu Shalom will send his blessings to each and every one of us, that we should be matzliach in our Yiddishkeit and in the things that we have to do. So this will speed up the completeness, the Shleimus HaOretz, and Yarchav Hashem es Gevulcha, that the borders and the boundaries of Eretz Yisrael will be spread out and become much bigger than they are in the last days of Golus. And every Jew, here's a point that the Rebbe made, there is no difference between one Jew and the other, because each and every one of us, wherever we are, no matter what we are, we have a chelik, we have a part of godliness in us. So who can have the chutzpah to start up with God? Now you understand what that means. If we have God in us and someone starts up with us, he's starting up with Hashem Yisborach Chalil. So how can anybody have the chutzpah to do that? Then automatically, and every single Jew who is an Am Chochem V'Novim, we're not fools. We understand that we're not going to chas v'sholem do something that's not right. But we are going to, be'ezras Hashem, fulfill the will of Hashem Yisborach. V'simcha v'tuv levov, with happiness and with joy. There will be an end to the darkness, an end to the Golus. And in 1 second, and in 1 minute, and in 1 day, the Rabbeinu Shalom is going to take all of us together. It's going to be Kohol Godel. It's going to be a big, big congregation, a big assemblage, a big rally. But it's going to be, we're all like one together, all Chaverim. In Eretz Yisrael, in one Eretz Yisrael, in Yerushalayim Ira Chodesh, which is the capital of the Rabbeinu Shalom, Kiryas Melachov, and the Har Hashem, which is the Har Habayis, the mountain of Hashem Yisborach, which is Migdash Hashem Koinenu Yodecha, which is the Beis HaMigdash, which the Rabbeinu Shalom has prepared to give to us, to Klal Yisrael. And let's hope that that's going to be, as the Rebbe said, speedily in our days. And all of us should say, as is my custom with you, Kinderlach. I'm no big shot. I'm just playing like one of the Kinderlach over there. I'm one of the little...
כדי soll sein a Seder, it eichen teilen de Tzedaka, it zum allermeisten, die was kommen bereich sein, dass die Kinder von de Ganim und von de Machneis, wollen zugehen, da haben Holle von de Ganim und Machneis nehmen, die Tzedaka verseh, und auf zu teilen, die Matbeis auf Tzedaka zu teilen seh, und dann noch die Tandkisten auf Teilen zwischen die Erwachsene, was halten, als sie dürfen echt noch haben Chinuch, gedei auf sein noch mehr erwachsen, und mit keinem sein Rotzen Hashem, bis ihm Choktur Levov, und der Ruf noch mehr Mekarev sein, denn Gibone Beis Hamikdash bimheire biyameinu, bimheire biyameinu, in dem Beheire biyameinu Mama.
Come the kids for the charity, for the money for charity. So the counselors of the camps should come first, and they will get their money from the Rebbe, and they will to distribute to the children, and then will go, the tankists will come, and they will go to get the money for the adults who feel that they still need to grow a little bit, and they have to learn yet a little bit to fulfill the Ratzon Hashem B'Simcha V'Tuv Levav, which will bring, I'll tell you how to do it in a minute, which will bring speedily that the Beis Hamikdash will be built b'mehera b'yameinu, in the b'mehera b'yameinu mamish. Okay, kinderlach, we know what we do, right? All the time after every rally. We're little kinderlach, so we can give the Rebbe a bracha like children give their daddy. And this is our Melech Basoda. And the Rebbe, when he smiles to us, it's just like we could see the Rabbeinu Shalom smiling to us. So what we want to do now is bring our bakosha to the Rebbe, right? To the king, to the Melech Basoda. Listen to me, kinderlach, all of you boys and girls. Listen very attentively. Let's ask the Rebbe that no more golus after this, that he should once and for all make an end. He's promising us all along, and we are getting impatient. We want to see Mashiach Tzidkenu B'Poel Mamish. So we're asking the Rebbe, the Melech Basoda, our daddy, that he should see to it that this Rosh Hashanah, this Chodesh Elul rather, should be an end to this golus, and speedily we should go with the Rebbe Lekabel Pnei Mashiach Tzidkenu in the Rabbeinu Shalom, should give our Rebbe a Rebbetzin Aksiva V'Aksima Teva L'Shana Teva Mesuka V'Seich Klal Yisroel, and all the brachas that the Rebbe blessed us today and blessed Klal Yisroel V'Chol Ha'olam Kulai should be fulfilled speedily by the Rabbeinu Shalom, the Melech Melchei Amlochim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ach Tzadikim. We want Mashiach. So you're gonna
Hashem Elokeinu, Belokeinu.
Madrichim first of Gan Yisroel, since you're closest, come up. Will the girls, the Madriches, the counselors and staff of Camp Emunah, just get ready. I would like very much if we can make an aisle over here, this aisle. Boys, will you please clear this aisle so that the girls can come through to get the money. No, you go with your left. Will the girls? There is an aisle. Please clear this aisle. Rabbi Timber, do me a favor. Clear your aisle over there so that the girls can get through. Let the boys go another way. Now wait a minute. Clear the aisle, please. What is it? Coming this way. This way. All right. Clear the aisle. The wall, the big light. Where are the counselors of Camp Emunah? Can we get through there? Is there a way of getting through there? Yeah? All right, to the wall. To my left, girls. Madriches, quick, let's not keep the Rebbe waiting. Please, where are they? Are they coming through? Right there, come through. Sarah, let's go. All the counselors of Camp Emunah and staff, Camp Emunah counselors and staff, hurry up. By the wall. Kindalach, away from there. Counselors, hurry, please. Tiny tots, go. Tiny tots. Junior counselors can go too. Counselors and junior counselors, staff. Let the girls through. Let the girls come through, please. Junior counselors, hurry, quickly. Any more? Let's go. There's some more. Counselors, junior counselors and staff, hurry, girls, the Rebbe's waiting, hurry. Let's go, girls. Let's go. Counselors, junior counselors, and staff, hurry it up. Hurry, girls. Only staff. Let the tankers come over. If you have any extras, please turn the money back over here.